Welcome to my channel, dear people of God. In today's exciting new video we are going to explore the story of Onesimus.
Onesimus, from slave to brother, the redemption of a runaway. Onesimus was a slave in the household of Philemon, a wealthy Christian who lived in Colossae. In the Roman Empire, slavery was a common practice, and slaves were considered the property of their masters. Onesimus, whose name means useful or profitable, ran away from Philemon, possibly stealing from him in the process. In fleeing, Onesimus likely sought freedom, but his journey led him to the Apostle Paul, who was imprisoned in Rome at the time. Paul's encounter with Onesimus was not a mere coincidence but a divine appointment that would change Onesimus' life forever. The story of Onesimus is one of transformation, redemption, and the breaking down of societal barriers through the power of the gospel. Onesimus' encounter with Paul. After running away, Onesimus somehow found his way to Paul, who was under house arrest in Rome. Whether he sought Paul out specifically or ended up there by chance, the outcome was providential. Paul, who had previously converted Philemon to Christianity, took Onesimus under his wing. During his time with Paul, Onesimus became a Christian. His transformation was profound. No longer just a runaway slave, Onesimus became a beloved brother in Christ. Paul saw the potential in Onesimus and recognized that his conversion was not only a personal victory but also a testimony to the reconciling power of Christ. Paul's appeal to Philemon. Paul decided to send Onesimus back to Philemon, but he didn't send him empty-handed. Instead, Paul wrote a personal letter to Philemon, which we know today as the Epistle to Philemon. This letter is unique in the New Testament because it is a deeply personal plea, filled with affection, respect, and a powerful appeal to Christian brotherhood. In the letter, Paul urges Philemon to welcome Onesimus back, not as a slave, but as a brother in Christ.
I am sending him, who is my very heart, back to you. I would have liked to keep him with me so that he could take your place in helping me while I am in chains for the gospel. But I did not want to do anything without your consent, so that any favor you do would not seem forced but would be voluntary. Perhaps the reason he was separated from you for a little while was that you might have him back forever, no longer as a slave, but better than a slave, as a dear brother. He is very dear to me but even dearer to you, both as a fellow man and as a brother in the Lord. So if you consider me a partner, welcome him as you would welcome me. If he has done you any wrong or owes you anything, charge it to me. I, Paul, am writing this with my own hand. I will pay it back, not to mention that you owe me your very self. I do wish, brother, that I may have some benefit from you in the Lord. Refresh my heart in Christ. Confident of your obedience, I write to you, knowing that you will do even more than I ask.
Paul's letter emphasizes the radical nature of Christian love and equality. By asking Philemon to receive Onesimus as a brother, Paul is advocating for a relationship based not on social status or past wrongs, but on their shared faith in Christ. Onesimus' story is a powerful example of the gospel's transformative power. In the eyes of the Roman world, Onesimus was merely a slave, a piece of property with no rights or social standing. However, in Christ, Onesimus was so much more. He was a beloved brother, a fellow worker in the gospel, and a living testament to the grace of God. The story of Onesimus challenges us to see beyond societal labels and to recognize the inherent worth and dignity of every individual. It also reminds us of the importance of reconciliation. Paul didn't ignore Onesimus' past or the wrongs he may have committed, but he sought to reconcile him with Philemon in a way that honored both justice and mercy. Moreover, the narrative invites us to reflect on our own lives, how we have been redeemed from our past sins and how we are called to extend that same grace to others. It speaks to the heart of the Christian message, that in Christ, we are all one, regardless of our past or our social status. Tradition holds that Onesimus went on to become a bishop in the early church, continuing to serve Christ and his people faithfully. While the Bible doesn't provide details about his later life, the impact of his story resonates through the centuries as an example of the profound change that can occur when one encounters Christ. Onesimus' story encourages us to embrace the truth that no one is beyond the reach of God's redemption. His journey from a runaway slave to a beloved brother in Christ demonstrates the power of the gospel to break down barriers and create a new community founded on love, equality, and forgiveness. If Onesimus' story of redemption and transformation has inspired you, we invite you to share your thoughts in the comments, like this post, and share it with others. Let's spread the message of God's grace and the power of the gospel to transform lives.